Special plenary session A on the TEEB National studies. Let's see if this will you've heard possibly Patrick ten Braing's presentation on TEEB yesterday, so you're all familiar with the big TEEB. One of the results of the big TEEB was that in Nagoya, at the CBD COP10 last October, there was a call to the delegates of all the convention members to take this initiative to the national level. Some countries actually had started already, some took this as a serious call and have started recently or are about to start or are looking who is taking the lead and how they can follow. This morning's session is brief. It's a tour de horizon where we have several short introductions and then some time to ask questions to those who have already initiated TEEB studies or national ecosystem assessments. And then next week, the German Federation for Nature Conservation, if I'm pronouncing it more or less correct, BFN, Bundesamt für Naturschutz, organizes together with Altera a 3-day workshop on the island of Wilm in the Baltic Sea to develop this much further and actually start the methodological discussions and the exchange of information. We basically start with the framework that is published in the TEEB synthesis report for policymakers, where there's a TEEB 3-step plan, identify and assess, estimate values, physical and possibly economic, and already that step has been expanded by the presentations you've seen this morning and yesterday. And step 3, not to be forgotten, to actually do something in terms of policy management and capture those values for society. This is a map which is hopefully developing very quickly now, where the yellow dots are countries where activities are already underway in some form. Portugal and Spain have already published national ecosystem assessment reports. The Spanish representative will be up on this pedestal later this morning. The UK will be represented, Mike Christie will speak. The Netherlands has started December last year and is on the way now, and Kees Hendricks will present. The Germans have started more or less last year, but really kicked off recently. Sonja Macke of BFN will do a presentation. The Nordic Council, which is like a cooperative between all the Scandinavian countries, and it's we will be represented. It's not in the program, just too late. Petri, and then there's the orange dots, 1, 2, and 3, which are the Commission services, which are supporting the member states' initiatives where possible, and then the green dots are countries which have at least indicated that they're interested because they're all coming to Wilm next week. This is not just an academic exercise. Patrick has already indicated how the policy arena has picked up TEEB, and it's in Europe at least, it's under a very clear umbrella under the biodiversity strategy, which was published May 4th this year. And Target 2 explicitly mentions ecosystem services and an interesting and challenging 50% restoration ambition. But even more to the point is Action 5, which calls for the member states of the European Union to map and assess the state of ecosystems and their services in their national territory by 2014. So the Commission is in a bit of a hurry because 2020 is closer than we think. Assess the economic value of such services, and last but not least, promote the integration of these values into accounting and reporting systems at the EU and national level by 2020. So first do it and then store it, and then it can be used to actually monitor progress of countries towards the 2020 target. So this is not a free-floating exercise of academics who think that ecosystem service is a neat concept. I think it's beyond the burden of proof phase. The Commission has taken this up as a relevant concept and is now trying to whip the member states into shape. Some of them have picked up this ball and are working. These national studies should at least therefore address these elements of Action 5. Mapping, and we've been involved, led by JRC. Giovanni Badoglio is here in the room. Ask him questions about the mapping exercise that we've developed over the last year and a half, and is still continuing with a number of European institutes to explore the possibilities and difficulties of multi-scale mapping of ecosystem services. We did biophysical mapping in the first year, and now we're trying to do actual mapping of economic values. There's different approaches being developed on national ecosystem assessments. Dick Melman is here, who worked on the Dutch National Ecosystem Assessment, which took an ecosystem service angle. Others have taken more regional or ecosystem angles. And Fernando Santos Martin will tell us a little bit about the Spanish experience. Then there's economic valuation, different approaches, lots of discussion, and the accounting framework mentioned in Target 2, Action 5, is being developed by the European Environment Agency. Now I'm talking about Europe mostly. I'm inviting everybody in the second part of this morning session outside Europe to share their experiences. We know TEEB activities are on the way in New Zealand, India, Brazil, some ideas in Australia. So please join the discussion and bring up your ideas. And as I said earlier, we are just starting to think about all the necessary tools and instruments for policymakers where ecosystem services can be helpful to increase sustainable use of resources and welfare. So the program of today, very quickly, after my introduction, we'll go through a few short presentations: TEEB Netherlands, TEEB Germany, TEEB Belgium, which is an interesting story. I won't tell you about that yet. Sander, where's Sander? Okay. And then UK, Mike, Chrissy, and then what was in the program as an open space has been filled at least by Spain now and the Nordic Council, and then others can join later.